Do you think Brady can now start a winning streak with a win over the Seahawks on Sunday?
If he can play a whole game like he did the last 2 minutes of that game that they won. And I think when you look at the division, the question you have to ask yourself, who are the other quarterbacks in this division beside Captain America? We watched 2 of them last night, and Andy Dalton. So he is the best quarterback in this division. There's no doubt about that. But can they protect him? And the way you have to protect Tom Brady, obviously, is you have to be able to run the football. The last 2 minutes of the game, we saw the true Captain America. He showed up. But it was a sloppy game between the Bucs and the Rams. It was one that you kept waiting, who's going to do something. Finally, Tom got the ball at the end of the game and went down and scored. So now you feel like the Buccaneers have some life.
If you have to say if, the answer is no. Right? You talk about,
Coach
30
said a lot of ifs there. He said a lot of ifs.
32nd in the league in rushing. That's how you have to protect the quarterback. They're asking too much from a 45-year-old quarterback. He's thrown for 2,500 yards. He's on pace for 5,000 yards. Tom Brady, his arm isn't the problem. It's this team doesn't look inspired. And listen, I know that Todd Bowles was on the staff, but they don't seem like they have that same accountability. Sometimes when I hate to put this on Todd Bowles, but they look like they have a lack of discipline. All of a sudden, Mike Evans and Tom Brady aren't on the same page. They have to figure it out. But the issue is yes, they'll win the division. They'll go to the playoffs. But they'll be there 1 week longer than everybody else. This team is going to have to go through a huge makeover. They have to figure out who their identity is and who's going to be their fundamental pieces going forward because the window has closed and the rest of the NFC doesn't fear Tom Brady, no matter if he's on the road or at home. And listen, the Rams, that was the worst situational defense I've seen since Buffalo and Kansas City last year. That was atrocious. Somebody should be fired for that one.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, no doubt about that. But I'm going to answer the question directly. Will Brady start a winning streak? I think it's possible. Do I think that they're going to make any noise come postseason time? No. But I also think that we have to take into consideration what we're witnessing. Certainly, he needs to be protected more. We got that. They've got the worst running attack in football. Yeah. We get all of that. But believe it or not, that hasn't been the biggest problem. That hasn't been the biggest, most glaring issue for me. What I've seen from them is shockingly cats dropping passes. Yeah. Godwin's dropping passes. Evans is dropping passes. Scott Miller is dropping touchdown passes. For crying out loud. You see all of these guys, it's the 50 percentile in terms of the completion percentage and the amount of times they've been targeted by Tom Brady. And that's what you're not accustomed to seeing. And it's moments like this where you say, all of a sudden, this crystallizes in your mind. Oh, that's why we miss Gronk so much. Because what happens is that Tom Brady knew you could rely on him. Mm-hmm. And so when it really, when the rubber met the road, Tom Brady would go that route because you knew you could rely on him. But we've seen a guy that's a perennial All-Pro in Mike Evans not be on the same page with Tom Brady. Yeah. They don't seem to be running the right routes. They don't seem to be in sync with one another. He's dropping passes he's never dropped in his career. I don't know what the hell is going on that side of the fence. But I do believe that if Mike Evans catches passes, which I don't believe he will continue to drop passes, if Chris Godwin is catching passes, if Scott Miller is catching passes, then I think it's a different animal. Now, Seattle is the better team. Yeah. Let's make no mistake about it. Geno Smith is my comeback player of the year, without question. Yeah. Pete Carroll is a candidate for Coach of the Year honors. You can't summarily dismiss him. Dable was a runaway for the Giants for a while. It's not so much of a runaway anymore. Not with the way we're seeing Seattle look completely. And the guys that they got some, they're physical. They come at you. They clearly have better talent right now. And I think Tampa Bay's got to play a superior game. They got to be together. But I think that when we look at them, what we're seeing is not a team devoid of talent. We're seeing a team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that's inexplicably together. And it resonates with me because here's the deal. When Bruce Arians was there, he was getting in cats' faces, right? That ain't Todd Bowles' personality. One of the things that's a pet peeve of mine, and Coach, you've known me for many years. Bart, you've known me for many years. You know how I am about this. I can't stand when I see players play differently for black coaches. Yeah. It really rakes my nerves, okay? The same level of efficiency. If you don't have it, you don't have it. You're a scrub, you're a scrub. If you're a marginal player, you're a marginal player. If you average, you average. But I can't stand seeing dudes that are all pros that can flat out ball. And in this case, I know Ndamukong Suh is not there any longer. I get all of that. I understand that. But when I see guys on the squad that are Super Bowl champions, and all of a sudden you damn near look like you don't belong in the league.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's under the stewardship of an African-American coach. It rakes my nerves. I'm not saying that has anything to do with it. What I'm saying is it hits me personally because the same commitment to efficiency that you showed with Bruce Arians, where the hell did that go? Well, and that's my problem with Tampa Bay right now.
Well, it started with Tom Brady, right? Because we understand what was going on in his personal life, but, him leaving and not really showing, how important,
I don't think that was intentional. It wasn't though. He was dealing with
No, I'm talking about the Saturday practice. Like, I know it's, we know that Saturday practice is really a nothing burger, right? But we're not accustomed to Tom Brady missing that. So when you think about, okay, now everybody's thinking that it's a little more lax around here. And Todd Bowles alluded to it, right? He said, everybody's full around here. Everybody's living off that Super Bowl that we had. It's the relatively same team. They ran it back. They fell short. So now what happens is the accountability factor, and Herm would know this a lot better than I can even articulate. It's a lot harder being a head coach than it is being a coordinator. And then what happens is it looks like to me, this defense slip, this attention to detail, right? Miscommunication. And sometimes it's different because now Todd has to use some of his time doing other things that head coaches have to do that coordinators don't have to. Now, I would like to see Todd kind of get more in that room and start make it more a priority. So because if they're going to win, it's going to be because his defense steps up and takes it to another level and pitch shutouts.
Go ahead, Coach.
And Tom Brady has to continue to play well now. That's going to be a key, guys. Tom Brady has to play well if they're going to win.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.